welcome back to the channel. My name's Adil and today is a very special moment. The Mansory Lamborghini Urus is amongst us and this car is about to take part in an absolutely bonkers Cambridge car audio journey. So the spec on this system is absolutely insane and it matches the Mansory absolutely bonkers Lamborghini Urus that we have in at the moment. Today's video, I'm going to separate into a couple of different sections. We're going to start off by kind of running through some of the product that is going into the vehicle that we've got in front of me right now. Then a little bit later on, you're going to see the actual install process of our team taking apart a Lamborghini Urus and giving it the Cambridge car audio experience. And then later on, we're going to have a little walk around and also have a listen to the final result of this absolutely insane system. So without further ado, let's jump in.
This week's project will be the Lamborghini Urus Mansory. First thing we'll be doing on the car is obviously going to be a massive install on it. So first thing we'll be taking the interior out. So that'll be door cards, seats, center console, get it all out, ready to start soundproofing.
Right, we've finished stripping down. Steve's now working on the A-pillars. We're going to head inside. We've got a little bit of rectification work to sort out before we can start laying the foundations for everything we want. So unfortunately, after stripping the interior out, we've found a couple of bits we need to sort out before we can crack on. Now, in the industry, there's a lot of people that will just tuck and run stuff and they'll sling it in. So unfortunately, we've got quite a few cables like this one just floating around behind the dashboard, just been tucked in underneath. We're going to have to do a little bit of work for that to get that neat and tidy and out of the way before we start. And unfortunately, on this one, someone has run the cable around the outside of the door pillar and then tucked it underneath the rubber. That's a definite no-no. There's a fair chance that will get broken through at some point with the door closing in and it will end up causing a problem for us later on. So been authorised to do a little bit of rectification work, so we're going to remove that, run it through the bulkhead, and then we can do a little bit of tidy up work in the boot. So we're around to the boot now, which is where pretty much 90% of the mayhem is going to be happening. So we're going to need to get ourselves sorted and organised at this point. So we've got a little bit of wiring to tidy up from the starlight system and a few accessories have been put in. Once that's tidied up, that will then allow us to start putting the sound deadening in, and that will start a nice foundation for the next person to start building the sub boxes. So there'll be a lot of taping off going on and a lot of fiberglassing going on. Once the boot floor's been sound deadened, we can then start making the false floor up, getting that ready for amp locations and work on from there. So we'll crack on, we're getting this a little bit tidied up.
So as you can see, Carl has neatened up all the wiring on this side, giving us extra provision for our sub. So that is all neat, that's all tucked away and cable tied. So what we will do now is we'll start laying down our soundproofing. So just to show you, this is our 3mm skin soundproofing that we'll be using. So we'll be doing our floor, we'll be doing our sides, our wheel arches, and our boot lid. And once all our soundproofing is done, we will start with our custom boxes for our sub. So let me get started with our soundproofing and we'll catch you later.
So next we're going to be soundproofing these door cards with skins. We're going to be focusing on this area, along here and along here. And then we're going to be making sure, cloth taping all of these, make sure they don't rattle. So let's get started.
Hi guys, quick pause in the video for an update on some stuff we found while we were running some wiring. We got a lighting system in here and the previous installer didn't do such a great job. You've got bird's nest of wiring incorrectly and unsafely wired with open connections and just kind of hanging out on the outside of the car, running free like that. Not a good look. You know, even on cars like this, you can get some people that don't really put the care into an install that should be there. That's why we like to say
you know, if you're gonna get stuff done, even on this car, nice car, bad car, doesn't matter. Make sure you're spending your hard-earned money at a reputable place. You don't want safety hazards in your car.
So now all the wiring's tidied up, let's take a look at the spec.
This vehicle has an issue with the Bang & Olufsen amplifier that is in the vehicle. So we are going to be bypassing that completely using what's called an optical Zen module. And that is actually partly already installed into the vehicles. I haven't got that with me, but that is a Zen module, which in essence is a bypass of your factory amplifier in the Bang & Olufsen system. So it bypasses it completely, and it allows us to keep the optical signal from head unit all the way into the multiple Audison Forza amplifiers that we have going into the system, which is absolutely incredible. There is so much to go through in terms of this spec. Very, very exciting project. Let's start off then with the front end of this car. Client's gone for an incredible spec. So wanted insane level of quality and detail in terms of the kind of front end and soundstage of that vehicle. So what we've gone for is the Audison Thesis tweeter and the Audison Thesis mid-range, which will be housed in a custom A-pillar. This is actually during a consultation that we had with our client to go through the spec of this system to make it inch perfect for how they wanted it on their vehicle. We obviously went through some of the other things we've done before on previous Lamborghinis and also other vehicles to kind of combine and make this ultimate system for what he was after. The spec of that front end on those custom A-pillars is going to be beautiful, and they also will be housing those custom A-pillars. In terms of that mid-bass driver that's in the bottom of the door, that's going to be the Hertz Legend 7-inch mid-bass. The Bang & Olufsen system and the car itself as a Lamborghini Urus allows us to put a slightly larger mid-bass into that stock location. So that is why we're using the Hertz Legend 7-inch mid-bass versus like an Audison Thesis 6.5-inch mid-bass, solely because of mid-bass punch that the mid-bass driver will drive with the 7-inch. Client also wanted a real surround sound effect. So what we've done is the Hertz Legend 3-way rear. So you've got the tweeter, the mid-range, and then the 6.5-inch mid-bass, which will sit in the stock locations for rear fill. But an incredible way to spec out rear fill. I mean, it's absolutely breathtaking. Miele Legend as a range is just breathtaking. And having that for rear fill is an absolute dream. So that is a really nice setup there. Obviously, as you can tell by the two products that I've got on either side of me here, client does like his bass a little bit. So what we've gone for is two Hertz Miele Pro 12-inch subs that will house in custom enclosures on either side of the boot, which you'll see our team carry out very shortly. Then it goes over to this stack of amplifiers. We've got 4 amplifiers going into this car, guys. So we've got the Audison Forza 8-channel, we've got our Audison Forza 4-channel, and 2 monoblock 1-channel amplifiers as well. So a hell of a lot of power going into this system. This is not only going to give volume, but also clarity and also just an insane level of depth of sound from every aspect of this system. But yeah, spec is absolutely bonkers. That is it for me for now. Let's move on, crack on with the install and see how this system gets on.
Right, as you can see, I've jumped in to help Steve with a little bit of moulding in the back here. To get the space for our subwoofers to sit, we've fiberglassed this entire back section so we can get as much space as possible and mould it into all the shape of the car. We've started by completely taping up the car on both sides, absolutely covered everything in tape so that we're not going to be covering anything in fiberglass, and we've got a shape that we can follow, and we've smoothed it out so that the fiberglass will come out nice and easily and it'll fit back nice and easily. We've then waxed that over the top so that this will then release the fiberglass and resin from the actual tape on the car. And then I've protected all the outside as well, just to make sure we're not dribbling any excess out. And then we've covered that, me and Steve. Steve was passing me all the sheets just to make it a bit quicker, and I was just covering the entire inside area with fiberglass so that we can choose which bits we need and which bits we don't. We're going to get this out though, and then have to bulk it up outside the car. You just can't add too much inside the car, as too much weight will just have it fold out and fall out of the car, which happened on this one. We added a bit too much, so we've only got a thin layer on there. So we'll have to bulk it up outside of the car and build it up the shape outside of the car. But now we've got this shape, we can go from there.
The process of building a custom sub box is a lot of back and forth from our fab room over to the vehicle. This is to ensure that throughout the entire process, as we're laying in fiberglass, as we're doing the mold, that everything is inch perfect. Another really important part of building a custom sub box is ensuring that it is completely sealed, and that is what Steve is carrying out the work right now. Then it's about the final finishing touches, just making sure everything sits into the vehicle perfectly well. Once the back of the sub box is complete, it then moves over to the front face of the box. We traditionally use a slightly thicker material on the face of the box, and this helps again with basically controlling the sub as it's playing. As you know, we show everything and a lot of detail in our videos as we're doing today, and this is where our level of attention to detail comes. Once the back of the box is all complete, it then moves on to finish off that wiring to get that into that sub box. Sub boxes can then be mounted, and then the subs will be eventually ready to go in.
So this is the sub box finished now, essentially. We've got the fiberglass on, we've got the filler on, it's all painted. We've done a final test fit to make sure it fits into the car nice and snug with our mounting plates. So we've got the two secure mounting points when it's going in fully. The next step will be to get the faceplate on the panel. Faceplate will cover here, come along to here. And then once we've done that, we'll get the hole cut for the speaker. And the speaker, customer has requested that the speaker comes forward on a bit of an angle slightly. So the subs will either be facing forwards or backwards, depending on how we want to get it to look from what the customer's requiring. So although the Urus as standard already has on the upgrade a mid-range and a tweeter location as standard in the vehicle, this customer wanted us to ignore those essentially and put the mid and tweeter into the air pillar for a bit of bling and a bit of, so it pops out and looks there. We're going to colour code it or whatever from there. The original tweeter sits in here, which we're going to take out and ignore. And then the first stage is quite a lot of very delicate measuring and cutting and trimming with different templates to make sure we get the right space for the speakers. This is involved in this side here, where we've done this. So first of all, we would get a hole cut out in the centre. We then get templates for the thesis mid and then the thesis tweeter. We replace the tweeter with a plastic spacer. And then what we do, once it's in the vehicle, like so, we'd work out how to put this in to get the right angle for the mid-range. And then again, how to put the tweeter into the right angle for the tweeter, allowing that we put enough of a scallop on the front so that you don't impair the sound coming from the speaker at all. We then transfer that template effectively onto the second air pillar, and then we will then cut, grind, and match the two together, peel off the backing. The original tweeter panel will be flattened off and smoothed out, and then we'll get on to, once these are in place and bonded in place, we will then get into the blendings and make them into the finished item, ready for trimming for the final fitting. We've made a start on the air pillars now, so we've seen we could just probably cut the holes out there. The next stage was to put the templates in for the speakers, glue them in place, and we use a little laser guider here to put into the adapter. And that allows us to pinpoint exactly in the car where we want each speaker to point to. So once we've got those nailed in place with the two different adapters, we'll pop the panels out and we'll start to firm them up and build them up from there.
Right. While the boys put together the sub box and the A-pillars, I'm going to be working on putting our speakers into our factory housings. For our rear housing, we have our custom bracket for our Hertz mid-range going right in there, and then we have luckily found that this fits right into our factory housing there, so no bracket needed. On this side, in our fronts, we have taken this out because it's going to be going in our A-pillars, and we've got this guy fitting right in here, running our lines through and along there, and then once we're all done, we'll have XD connectors connecting it all up, running our power and our sound. It's gonna be great.
So using the factory OEM locations is really beneficial, and the reason for it is the fact that the system can be reversed. If our client ever wants to move the system to the next vehicle, this is a perfect option for it, and we use our 3D printed adapters as well as our designated connectors and plugs to be able to achieve this for our client, plus creating an extraordinary sound all at the same time. What an absolutely bonkers build. I really hope you guys have enjoyed today's video so far. It is now the time in the video to go through the final results of the system, and then we're going to be sitting inside the car and listening to it with you guys. You guys are going to have a proper experience of the Mansory Lamborghini Urus with the Cambridge car audio experience. So I don't even know where to start. Obviously, you guys have seen so much in today's video. Every single person on the team has been involved on this install. It has been absolutely crazy. There was a massive deadline set on the vehicle to get the car ready for an event. Obviously, a showstopper car needed the Cambridge car audio treatment, and now it has it, and honestly, what a breathtaking thing it is. Bear in mind, guys, this car came in with no sound whatsoever. Lots and lots of faults with the electrical and audio system, but that has all gone. We have completely transformed it. So I literally don't even know where to start. So there's been so much done on the vehicle. Let's start in the boot area. I mean, that's where a lot of the work has been carried out in terms of getting the car to have an incredibly cool system. So obviously, from what you can see cosmetically, you've got two custom built sub boxes. So on this Lamborghini Urus, because obviously with the Mansory look that it's got as well, it's all about kind of having that showstopper piece. So what we've done is two 12-inch Hertz Melee Pro subs, which obviously we went through spec earlier on in today's video, so I won't touch on that too much. But obviously the team have done an absolutely bonkers job, because getting these subs into those locations on the side, still allowing for boot room, but having them kind of on contour just to give a really cool build look. Getting still retention of factory panels like the factory air ride system to lower and increase the boot's height. That's all retained. We've also got access panels for kind of servicing the system in terms of not just our system, but also the actual car itself, because you've got fuse box behind there. So there's a nice access panel with the Mansory logo, all actually color coded to the color of the vehicle. And we've also done the ring there as well. It looks absolutely lovely in here. The finish is absolutely sublime. Gone for Alcantara on the sides, which looks really smart, and a really cool little feature is underneath the factory floor. What this happens is we can pop that out, and then you have yourself 4 amplifiers in the system. Obviously, we went through spec earlier on, but this is out of the Audison Forza range. So you've got 4 Audison Forza amplifiers. This beauty panel down here, the amplifier rack, is actually color-coded, painted to the same color that we've got on the outside of the car. Gives an absolutely lovely, lovely touch. Plus, you can also hide it. It just looks really, really nice in here. And you've actually still got plenty of boot space as well, which is really nice. So that's kind of the boot area. Obviously, there's a lot more to go through, and you've probably had this video is probably quite long already, so you've had quite a lot of documentation of the build and what we've done on it so far. Obviously, as I mentioned right at the beginning of the video, the Hertz 3-way front end, the tweeter, the mid-range and mid-bass out of the Hertz Legend range, they've gone in OEM locations. This is really, really important to show that we can do kind of factory look, as well as obviously the custom work that we've done, obviously boot area in front. This is what we call, it's a bit further than probably an OEM plus system in this, but it just looks absolutely incredible, but still retaining so much functionality of the car, like the factory boot floor area. It's just incredible what our team will complete. But this, remember guys, this takes so much more work to do. The level of detail, the level of planning, the level of intricacy that is involved to build a system like this is just a whole nother level, and that is why clients travel all over the world to us. So this is a really, really proud moment to be showcasing this system to you guys. So inside here, we've got the Hertz Legend 7-inch mid-bass in the OEM location. However, our client wanted a hell of a lot more clarity. Move that mid-range location from down here, higher up in the vehicle. So that's where we built the custom A-pillars. Again, these are absolutely incredible. I'm sure Adam's going to put some B-roll of this, but the A-pillars look phenomenal, retrimmed in Alcantara, and also the tweeter grills color-coded to match the vehicle as well. But moving that soundstage to that mid-range up higher in that vehicle makes a huge, huge, huge difference. And we've also got the DRC AC, which controls sub-level, different equalizations that we're going to set when we do tuning. But honestly, this system is absolutely crazy. A hell of a lot of sound deadening's gone into the vehicle to reduce road noise, also get rid of rattles from the car. And we've also fixed a lot of other things from previous installs, as you've probably seen in today's video. And this is why, again, so many people travel to us, because of the level of work that we do behind the scenes. So a car that had no audio now has the Cambridge Car Audio experience. And now it's time for you to take part and listen with us. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. This, honestly, is absolutely crazy. Prepare yourselves. It is going to be needed. I'm really hoping our new microphone setup is going to be able to handle the amount of depth, the amount of bass this system has. I don't know if it will, so I'm probably going to run it on about 3/4 just in case, because it is mind-blowing in here. Without further ado, guys, enjoy.
I've been looking for a place that I'd rather be. I've been searching for my own destiny. I raise my gun to the sky and scream out loud. This is my life, this is my hope, this is what I stand for. Now is the time to not to lose the game. The darkest night is always seen. Wait on and nothing, we're face to face. I've heard about you.
Sure, you ready?
Know about me. Already enough not to lose the game. The darkest night is always seen.
It gets even better. We take out this panel. You came to the best, man.
The best. Wow. Didn't expect that.